Chapter 3. The Weight of Unspoken Words. Some wounds don't begin with harsh words. They begin with words we never say. Daniel barely slept that night. The photograph lay on his coffee table beside him. He picked it up again. There he was, years younger, kneeling on one knee with a ring in his hand. Grace stood before him, tears of joy streaming down her face. Friends and family surrounded them, celebrating the beginning of a beautiful future. Then his eyes drifted to the back of the photograph. Some promises are harder to keep. The handwriting looked familiar, too familiar. Where had he seen it before? He searched through old letters tucked inside the photo album. Anniversary cards, birthday notes, Christmas messages, nothing. Then, folded between two pages, he found an old envelope addressed to him. He hadn't opened it in years. Inside was a handwritten letter. As soon as he saw the first line, he recognized the handwriting. It belonged to his father. His father had written it just weeks before Daniel's wedding. Daniel took a slow breath and began to read. Son, marriage is not something you build on your wedding day. It's something you build every ordinary day after that. There will be seasons when love feels effortless. There will also be seasons when it feels like hard work. During those moments, don't make the mistake I made. Don't stop talking. Don't assume silence means peace. Silence has a way of building walls one brick at a time. Remember this, some promises are harder to keep than they are to make. Daniel lowered the letter. His father hadn't been warning him about someone else. He had been warning him about himself. The next morning, Daniel did something he hadn't done in years. He cancelled his first meeting. His assistant looked surprised. Everything okay? Daniel smiled faintly. For the first time in a long time, I'm taking care of something more important than work. Meanwhile, Grace sat alone in a quiet cafe. She wasn't angry anymore. She was simply tired. Tired of wondering if she mattered. Tired of pretending everything was fine. Her friend, Miriam, slid into the chair across from her. You don't look yourself. Grace smiled politely. I'm just exhausted. Miriam looked at her for a moment. No, you're lonely. Grace's eyes filled with tears. You know what's strange? What? I don't miss the expensive trips. I don't miss the gifts. I miss having someone who noticed when I've had a hard day. For a few moments, neither women spoke. Then Miriam quietly asked, Have you told Daniel that? Grace looked down into her coffee. I've tried, but somewhere along the way, I stopped believing he could hear me. That evening, Daniel arrived home before sunset. Grace looked surprised. You finished work early? No, I left early. She studied him, unsure what to say. Daniel walked into the living room and placed the old letter on the table. I found this last night. Grace unfolded it and read every word. When she finished, she looked at Daniel. I wish we had read this years ago. So do I. For the first time in months, they sat together without television, without phones, without distractions, just two people, Daniel broke the silence. "I'm sorry." Grace looked at him. "I don't just mean for being late to dinner. I'm sorry for making you feel alone while I was standing right beside you." Tears welled in her eyes. "I wasn't asking for perfection, Daniel. I know. I was asking for you." The room felt quiet again, but this silence felt different. It wasn't empty. It was healing. Over the next few weeks, little things began to change. Daniel started leaving work on time twice a week. They cooked dinner together again. Sometimes the food burnt, just like it had years ago. And for the first time in a long time, they laughed about it. On Saturday afternoon, they returned to their first apartment building. The tiny place looked even smaller than they remembered. Grace smiled. "How did we ever fit all our dreams in there?" Daniel laughed. "We didn't. We carried them with us." As they stood outside, an elderly landlord recognized them. "I remember you too," he said. "You were always laughing." Daniel glanced at Grace. "We forgot how." The old man smiled gently. "No, you didn't forget. You just got busy." Those simple words stayed with them all the way home. Lesson of the day. The strongest relationships are not built on grand romantic gestures. They are built on ordinary moments. Listening before judging, apologizing without making excuses, choosing each other, even on the days when it doesn't come naturally. Love grows where attention is given, and where attention disappears, distance quietly takes its place. That night, as Daniel locked the front door, Grace slipped her hand into his. Neither of them spoke. They didn't need to. For the first time in a long while, they were finally walking in the same direction. But just as hope began to return, Daniel's phone rang. The number was unfamiliar. He almost ignored it. Almost. When he answered, the voice on the other end said only one sentence. "Daniel, this is St. Mary's Hospital. Your father has been asking for you." Daniel's face turned pale. His father had passed away 3 years ago. Or so he believed. The call ended. The room fell silent. Grace looked at him. "What is it?" Daniel slowly lowered the phone. "I think," he whispered, "I've just learned that our family story isn't what I thought it was." And that story begins in chapter 4. Stay tuned.